Right now, you exist. You're breathing, you're thinking, you're watching this. But here's a question that most people never seriously ask. Why do you exist at all? Not in the emotional sense, not, what's the purpose of my life? In the most literal sense possible. What is actually generating you right now in this moment? Your brain, your parents, random chance. Most people pick one of those and move on. But Buddhism offers an answer that doesn't fit into any of those categories. And it's one of the strangest, most precise claims any philosophical tradition has ever made. It says, every single thing that exists, including you, including this universe, is being generated right now by something called the eighth consciousness. And the implications of that claim are almost impossible to overstate. Every serious philosophy and religion in history has had to answer the same basic question. Where does everything come from? The answers split into two camps. Camp 1, accident. The universe began by chance. Life evolved through random mutation and natural selection. You are the result of an unimaginably long chain of lucky accidents. This is the scientific consensus, and it's not wrong as far as it goes. But it runs into problems. The Cambrian explosion, for instance. Roughly 540 million years ago, the majority of animal body plans appeared in the fossil record within a geologically brief window of about 20 million years. If pure random mutation drives complexity, the math is hard to make work. And the intermediate species that evolutionary theory predicts should exist in great numbers, the transitional fossils, are far rarer than expected. This doesn't disprove evolution, but it suggests the pure accident story might be incomplete. Camp 2, design. Everything was made by something, a god, a creator, a primal ground of being. This splits further. Monotheism says one personal god created everything and can hear prayers and intervene. The problem, if a creator has a will and can override natural law, we should occasionally see the laws of physics suspended in observable ways. We don't. Impersonal monism. Traditions like the Tao in the Tao Te Ching, the primordial ground in ancient Indian philosophy, and ontological theories in Western philosophy, says reality emerges from a single, unconscious ground with no will and no personality. This avoids the miracle problem, but it can only explain why everyone shares the same physical universe. It cannot explain why you have a completely different life from the person next to you. Same source, but reality clearly doesn't produce the same outcome for everyone. Buddhism disagrees with all of them. Buddhism's answer to where does everything come from is something no other tradition has proposed. Not one source, many sources, one per being. Every sentient being, every person, every animal, every form of conscious life has its own eighth consciousness, its own generator, its own ground. These are not fragments of some larger cosmic mind. They're individual and autonomous. This is called, in Buddhist teaching, pluralistic idealism, or in the original term, the teaching of the Ālaya consciousness, the storehouse consciousness. The eighth of 8 layers of mind. The eighth consciousness is not like the conscious mind you're using right now to watch this video. That's the 6th consciousness. The thinking, analyzing, narrating mind. The 8th consciousness operates below all of that. The Buddhist texts describe it with 3 specific characteristics. It does not perceive the 6 sense objects, so it has no afflictions and does not hear prayers. It perceives the body, the physical world, and the karmic seeds it contains. And it accumulates those seeds and brings them forth into experience. Those stored seeds are what Buddhism calls karma, and they determine what gets generated next. Here's an analogy that appears in the text itself. The world works like a network game. Every player has their own character with a unique history, unique traits, a unique position. The world they all inhabit looks shared. Same sky, same mountains, same physics. But each character's experience is different, determined by their own accumulated choices and actions. Buddhist cosmology works the same way. The shared physical environment, mountains, oceans, the laws of nature, arises from the karma stored collectively across all eighth consciousnesses. Shared causes produce a shared world. Your personal experience, your body, your health, your intelligence, the specific circumstances of your life, arises from your own eighth consciousness individually. Individual causes produce individual results. There is no central server, no master controller deciding who gets which life. Just an enormous, decentralized, equal-structured network of individual karmic accounts, each one settling its balances over time. The Buddhist scriptures use the phrase, play of spiritual powers, and the text is explicit that this is not purely metaphorical. It expresses the Buddhist view of the world. The world is a game. Now here's where it gets truly vertiginous. The Śūraṃgama Sūtra, one of the texts that describes all of this most vividly, says something that sounds almost like modern cosmology. The entire universe we inhabit is like a single bubble rising in a vast ocean of awareness. Not a metaphor for feeling small, a claim about structure. The ocean is what is formed by the eighth consciousnesses of all sentient beings together. Vast, clear, and still. The bubble is the physical universe. This specific universe, with these specific laws, these specific worlds. And implied by this, countless other bubbles. Countless other universes, arising and dissolving in that same ocean. If this bubble, our universe, were to collapse, everything within it would lose its ground. The Buddha fields described in the scriptures, the heavens, the hells, all the realms between, all of it depends on the bubble continuing to exist. Only the ocean itself is originally unmoved, what the texts call constant, blissful, self, and pure, without sorrow or affliction. And the ultimate goal of Buddhist practice is not to find a better place within the bubble. It is to return to the ocean. There's one more piece to this that matters enormously. If karma is real, if actions genuinely have consequences across time, then the eighth consciousness has to be able to remember. Not the way you consciously remember. Deeper than that. The text describes it as two components. The first is the container, permanently unchanging, like a vessel that can never be erased or damaged. This is the true aspect, the heart essence that stores. The second is the content, the seeds stored within that container. Every action, physical, verbal, and mental, writes something into it. This content can change, accumulate, be transformed through practice. This is the conditioned aspect, the stored seeds. Together they are called true and conditioned in union. The true part makes continuity possible. Without it, karma couldn't persist. There would be nothing to carry the record from one moment to the next, one life to the next. The conditioned part makes change possible. Without it, practice would be pointless. You would be locked into whatever you've always been. The fact that both exist simultaneously is what makes the Buddhist path coherent. You are not fixed, but you are not random either. Every choice you make is being written right now into something that never forgets. So, let's come back to the question we started with. Why do you exist? According to Buddhism, because your eighth consciousness is generating you right now from the stored record of everything you've ever been and done. You didn't come from nothing. You didn't come from a God who made you once and moved on. You are the ongoing output of a system that has been running, according to this teaching, without beginning. And that same system is generating the mountains outside your window, the city around you, the other people in your life. Not from one source, from many. Each one complete. Each one carrying its own history. Each one a world unto itself. Next, we'll look at something that trips up almost every serious Buddhist practitioner, even experienced ones. What's the difference between ultimate reality and conventional reality? And why does confusing them lead people to do things that make absolutely no sense?